Formula Light Championship for round number 6 of our season, supported of course by Everything Simulated. We've got just 3 weeks to go, including this one at the Hungaroring, the last 45-minute race of the season. Follows next week with Phillip Island and the final sprint race of the season. Haven't had one of those for a while. And then the endurance race, the 60-minute finale at Suzuka to round out our season. And what a season we're having so far as well. An exceptionally close championship that looks like it's going to go all the way down to the wire. And the potential for a 6th difference champion in 6 seasons lives on. Myself, Ian O'Leary, and Rhys Gardner taking you through commentary here tonight. Rhys, it's been a wonderful season so far. It's coming to the business ends now with, as I say, still one of the closer championships in recent memory.
Oh, yes, very close indeed. Mark Hilley has really taken point this season to try and get that second title that's eluded him for quite some time. Geordie Slater is the one who's currently on top in the standings, but he doesn't appear to be here today. So it's that's going to throw a couple of spanners in the works. You're right, though, it is an incredibly close fight. Ryan Bell is currently the one in second ahead of Mark Hilly. There's only 9 points separating them. Craig Edwards isn't too far behind either to round out your top four. And as far as the standings go, that top four is really where it's at. A bit too big gaps to close up otherwise in these last couple of rounds.
Yeah, the others probably do have a little bit too much to do, although anybody who's in the top 37 have a mathematical chance. I doubt that's a realistic one. As you say, Slater not here, so he's going to drop away. But even without him, the top three are covered by 31 points, Bell, Hilly and Edwards. Tom McKinn's maybe a bit too far back, but he does need a good result here, and maybe he'll get himself involved. Angus Milne, Scott Bartine, the first Everything Simulated drivers, 6th and 7th position, ahead of Jackie Chung and Marcus Knitska. And that's the amazing thing about this season, isn't it? The fact that the silver class guys have got a really close championship battle, as well as what we have in gold. I mean, last season we had a very close silver class championship battle, and I suppose it did go down to the final race in gold, but to have both championships this close is it's certainly the best of that balance that we've seen for a couple of years. Seasons, rather. Seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Chung and Konitska, 8 points difference between them, and I reckon the silver class championship will go down to the wire, but it's going to be tough to get a consistent finish in these last few rounds. You know, we're starting things off in this final stanza here at the Hungaroring, which is quite a twisty track. In the F1 world, it is known as Monaco without walls, and I think that's a very apt description. It's very tight, it's difficult to make moves around here, and the curbs are always ever present to catch you out. Phillip Island, a super high-speed track where the slipstream should be very strong, and Suzuka's Suzuka. So, you know, I think we're going to get a pretty interesting finale out of that.
Yeah, indeed. We certainly are. Of course, where the F1 Championship finales used to be about 25, 20 years ago. So a bit of a rolling back the years there. Let's have a look at qualifying. And this is Mark Hilly, the chaser, really, in this scenario. Not far behind Ryan Bell at all. And not far behind Slater either, had he still been in the race. And unfortunately, he won't be. We're talking about him like he's out with the championship completely. Well, I'm afraid that's because he probably is. He missed the first round of the championship at Mugello. But since then, he's been having a run of very strong results. His lowest finish of 7th place was equalled last week at Watkins Glen when he recovered after qualifying 25th, or 22nd rather, gained 15 places. He also finished 7th in the sprint race at VIR 2 weeks ago before going on to win the second race. But he's been doing very, very well considering he didn't have a drop week. Unfortunately now he's got a lot of work to do. Now that gives Ryan Bell the championship lead, it does mean that the likelihood of him wrapping it up in 2 weeks' time is way, way higher than it would have been for either Slater or Hilly, or I suppose Craig Edwards as well, should he be able to get involved. And that's because Ryan Bell's worst score is 85 points. That's for third that he got at Mugello. Now that is meaning that going into the final round, where a win is only 100 points, I say only, but in relation to that 85, it isn't only 100 points, because anybody who wants to defeat Ryan Bell in the last round of this championship, unless something strange happens over the next 2 weeks, will have to be within 15 points of him going into that finale, and that's going to make things very, very difficult for the others. Now, I do think Hilly will stay there because he's already within those points, and comfortably so. And I think, as I say, I think he'll stay there. But for the likes of Craig Edwards, Tom McKinn's, Angus Milne, Scott Bartine, who maybe got designs on being just there or thereabouts, one of the outsiders going into the final race at Suzuka, that is going to make life way more difficult for them to have to be within 15 points or so of Ryan Bell.
Well, that means that for this round, they're going to have to be on their A game, and they'll need to put everything they can into avoiding incidents, avoiding falling down the order, because I think that's what's defined a lot of the action this season. We have had, on multiple occasions, often for the win, some contact and incidents, crashes at the front of the field, and drivers otherwise getting caught up in incidents that may or may not have been through no fault of their own. So keeping some good spatial awareness about you around here, especially important. But on a track that's very hard to pass, you've got to try and be willing to make those moves and make them stick. We do have a pit stop or two to consider today as well, so making sure that your pit strategy is where it needs to be, and practicing your pit entry especially important.
It certainly is around here. That is for sure, as we ride on board with Ryan Bell here through the middle sector. That's turn 11, which in slightly faster cars is a very committed high-speed corner there. Oh, a little bit wide though into 12, and that will probably be that for Ryan Bell as far as this lap is concerned. Tom Donahue going up towards the line with some personal bests and was very fast in practice. We'll see where he is in the qualifying session. Not quite as fast as the others. And Mark Killy now goes up to the top. A 32.6 from him puts him 1/10 of a second in front of Ryan Bell, as Bell slows to restart another lap here. Just reaffirms, as Steve Davison gets in the middle of them, it's reaffirming to me though that this is a championship, a two-horse race now. Mark Killy versus Ryan Bell, and it's going to be very close between the two of them, looking at this qualifying session and the evidence of this season so far.
Well, we are still waiting for Craig Edwards to get a proper representative time in. He actually topped practice on a 132.0. Fastest we've seen so far from Hilly, a 132.6. So I think there is still time in the track. The conditions may well be different from practice. It's morning conditions in qualifying at the moment, so the drivers should be dealing with a nice cool track temperature, and they'll be able to turn in all right, which is especially important around the Hungaroring. It's one of those tracks where you need a front end that responds instantly. Understeer around here is an absolute nightmare, but we'll find out what Aidan Godfrey can do here to maybe topple Tristan McLaren from the silver class pole coming to the end of the lap, and that's a 133.3. Not quite enough. McLaren on a 33.26. So we will have quite the tight battle for the silver class pole as well, still with 4 minutes to go. Mark Hilly just made an improvement. He's down to a 32.4 for pole.
Oh, that's looking difficult to beat now. Jake Robillard goes over the line, by the way, just in front of Ryan Bell here. Robillard not troubling the scorers, and neither is Ryan Bell at the moment. That was another half a second slower than what he's done previously. But just on the silver class, interesting that neither of the championship contenders there are actually fighting for the pole here, unlike in gold. Konitska is third in class, although he's actually 4 positions behind Tristan McLaren. Tangus Milmu is up to second. And look at Jackie Chung all the way down in 22nd place. That's a very unusual thing to see from him. Doug Gowans gets himself out of the silver class battle and up into 12th place. 27 drivers in tonight, by the way, all out there qualifying at the moment. As again, popping up on the bottom of your screen, Mark Hilly with a purple sector, although it doesn't last very long this time. He is still flying. At the moment, 3 minutes to go, I can't see a way in which Hilly's not on pole for this race.
Yeah, nearly 3/10 of a second gap for pole. I'm surprised that the drivers haven't got as close to their practice times. I would have expected a little bit higher pace, really, out of this qualifying session, but what matters is getting the fastest lap where it counts, no matter what the actual benchmark is. And Hilly, coming to the end of his next lap here, already got a personal best sector in Sector 1, was off in Sector 2 and off in Sector 3 as well. So that is, I mean, honestly, it's only minute improvements there that Mark Hilly's making. Let me just check his laps there. Yeah, still, actually it looks like that last lap didn't count for him. So still got couple of minutes left to see if he can increase that margin, but at this point I don't know if he really needs to. Davison's still 2/10 off, with Tom McInnes then making his way into third place. Dan Ackland and Alexei Watson make improvements to 11th and 17th respectively. We also saw Jackie Chung improving a few minutes ago. He's now up to 16th place.
And you'll notice all of these improvements that we're seeing in the gold class pretty much are putting people ahead of Ryan Bell, who's now been shuffled all the way down to 7th. Hilly has been on pole for a long time in this race, in this qualifying session rather, but Bell was second initially. Now he's all the way down to 7th because we haven't seen an improvement from him in ages, and now he's really got to have one. There's another. Craig Edwards moves up the field and Ryan Bell goes down yet another position. It's an incredibly close session if you take out Mark Hilly, so Ryan Bell can very much get himself to second, in fact, with a tenth and a half's worth of an improvement. You can't say that very often. However, he's got to actually make the improvement now as we enter the final minute of this qualifying session. With only 3 rounds to go, it could be a pivotal qualifying session by the looks of the way it's turning out at the moment. Here comes Tom Donahue over the line. That could be an improvement. It is. It's up to second. It's a front row start for Tom Donahue, as Mark Healy can't even improve on his own time. It's so quick at the moment. Danny Davison's personal best in the middle, but he's just gone wide at the final turn. He was giving it everything there, and it would have been good enough, I think, for second, but it's not going to count. He goes over the line and stays where he is. Here's Tom McKinns, also personal best through the middle sector. That seems to be where everybody's improving. That's going to be no improvement, though. He's got one more to go as he goes over the line, has he? Angus Milne also, he might bet well be getting up towards the front here with that lap time. Will he? Oh, it's an improvement in himself, but he can't actually gain any places. That is very disappointing for him. Now, where is Ryan Bell? He must be coming up towards the line at the moment. No, he's already been passed, and again he didn't improve. This is a disastrous session for Ryan Bell.
Yeah, the previous lap he actually backed off on. I think he knew that he would be able to get one more lap in, so he's geared up for it now, currently making his way up to turn 6 and 7, this very tight chicane, but he's going to spin out of the chicane, and there will be no opportunity for improvement for Ryan Bell. Best he can hope for right now is P8, and with the way everyone else is improving late on in the session, I don't know if he can hold on to it.
Wow, goodness me. That is quite extraordinary for Ryan Bell. Now, he has qualified poorly in the past and still raced his way up. I mean, for example, his drop round race, when he went up to finish third, he actually qualified 10th at Mugello. So he's not been the greatest qualifier this season. However, this is potentially disastrous with his big championship rival Mark Healy on the pole. If Healy wins this race, doesn't matter where Ryan Bell finishes, Healy will take the championship lead into the next round of this championship next week at Phillip Island, the final sprint round. And that is well, it's, you know, symbolic more than anything, as Tom McKinns makes a final improvement here. Angus Milne will be the final one to do so as well. I'm not sure he's going to go anywhere, but Tom McKinns makes his way up to the front row, and Healy there didn't improve for the last 5 minutes or so, just showing how quick that was as everybody just edged a bit closer. They're still over a tenth and a half behind him.
Yeah, looks like the best everyone else could manage was a 132.6. We have got 5 drivers covered by about 7-8 hundredths of a second there, from second all the way down to 6th. An incredibly close field, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Healy can pull off from here. If he's got that kind of advantage in qualifying, we'll see if he can hold on to it in the race.
Indeed, he's taken pole here in front of Tom McKinns, with Tom Donahue putting in a very good qualifying there for third, and Danny Davison in 4th place. It's Craig Edwards and Angus Milne on row 3 ahead of Scott Bartine, then Ryan Bell, who will be disappointed with 8th place. Alex Stevens and Hayden Millington round out your top 10. 11th has gone to Doug Gowans before the silver class pole to Tristan McLaren. Dan Ackland and Jackie Chung, who improved very late on there actually to get ahead of its championship rivals, by the way. Giorgio Sinesi is 15th, but of Josh Moss, then Alexia Watson and Aidan Godfrey. Joshua Van Treek and Ryan Borg round out the top 20. It is Marcus Knitska then all the way down 21st, despite the fact he was qualifying quite well earlier. He's got a lot of work to do compared to his championship rival Jackie Chung. Caleb Isbell alongside Jason Madden, Matt Tesorero, Jake Robillard, Nathan Verney and Matthew Berry were the last drivers to complete lap times there in that session. So 27 drivers, 45 minutes as normal in this feature round. Say, Ryan Bell has made his way up from poor qualifying positions in the past, but my goodness, does he need a big performance here now?
Oh, he certainly does, and there's a lot of options for how he can conduct this on the strategy. It is going to be likely a 2-stopper if we go green all the way, but one of those stops, the drivers are only expected to take about 4 litres of fuel. So it's they're going to have one super short stop here. The question is, do you take it for your first or your second stop? That, I think, is going to be a big difference. If you take your short stop early, you'll get track position and plenty of clear air. If you go long, then you might be able to get some clear air out at the back while others take their stops. But we'll talk a bit more about that when the time comes. We're about to go green.
We certainly are. Just waiting for the last drivers to get onto the grid. Danny Davison, the last one today. And he's not going to get there. Wow. Danny, sorry, he's got to start from the pit lane. That's why he's not there. Sorry. Here we go there. Danny Davison not allowed to start from fourth place. So the big gap being left where he would have been. And look at that from Mark Hilly as he pulls over immediately in front of the others. Tom McKinn's getting off to a decent starting behind. And Tom Donahue slots into third there as well with some space behind him with that gap left by Danny Davison. Down towards turn number 1. And oh, look at Ryan Bell steaming around the outside already on Craig Edwards. Oh my goodness, that's a great start from him. And he's just made contact with him, but he's going to make up to fourth place. That's incredible for Ryan Bell and exactly what he needed. Angus Mills got to follow through. It's not a good start for Craig Edwards, who's been shuffled back a couple of places. Goodness me, and off in the background. Scott Bartine's missing his rear wing now. That was slight contact coming out of turn 3, and he's missing his rear wing, and he doesn't realise it. He's gone into a hard Tristan McLaren. That is really unfortunate for McLaren. Scott Bartine didn't realise he didn't have a rear wing. He turned in for turn 4, and it's disastrous. Disastrous consequences for the rest. Tristan McLaren's got a meatball flag. He's got no rear wing anymore, and Scott Bartine's got big damage as well.
And looks like no one else was involved in that though, so that's fortunate. I saw Bartine with his rear wing missing down the straight, and my stomach just dropped because I knew what was about to happen. Unfortunately, it's taken his Everything Simulated teammate out of the running for the moment, so not an ideal start for them, but Mark Hilly, crucially, has managed to hold on to pole. There's the spin, and wow, McLaren did his best to try and avoid that, but turn 4 here at the Hungaroring, it's a fast kink to the left, and there's not much room to alter your line if something happens right in front of you. End of the first lap then. Hilly's managed to hold on to the lead, and he has managed to get an 0.8 of a second lead over Tom McKinn's, with Tom Donahue joining him there. But Ryan Bell's looking to try and make some moves here. He gained 4 spots just through the first couple of turns, and now he'll be up 5 spots.
Well, what a start from him. When this settles down a little bit, I want to go have a look back at his start and how he managed this, because yes, he got a position for free with Danny Davison not being there, so he effectively started 7th. But even so, he was 4th by the braking zone of turn 1. His launch must have been incredible, and the way he went round turn 1 as well was remarkable. And now he's got a teammate in front, and then Mark Hilly. So this has been a great recovery from Ryan Bell. However, as I mentioned earlier, if either Hilly or Bell win this race, then they will be the championship leaders no matter where the other finishes. That's how close it is at the moment in this championship. Let's have a look here. Look at the launch that he gets there straight off the bat from 7th. And watch the way he moves to the other side of the road here as everybody's sort of defending the inside. He realises there's going to be gaps opening up here on the left-hand side and just thinks, well, I'll go into that gap, shall I? Right round the outside of Milne, that would have been, and then Edwards to move himself up into 4th. It's just about spotting the gaps on the way down towards turn 1 and using them, and he used that incredibly well to get up to 4th place.
Yeah, simply brilliant start there. And, you know, I say it almost every broadcast I do, the outside line is underrated. There's Bartine losing his rear wing. I wonder what triggered that, because the rear wing obviously came off on the straight. There's the crash behind. But what caused the rear wing to get dislodged in the first place? I'd be interested to find that out.
Yeah, it looks like it sort of fell off on its own.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not possible, but we'll see. It's not even listed as an accident on our systems, which is well, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare to find. But yeah, that's such a light bit of contact to see a rear wing off. Anyway, he made it back to the pit lane and he took his fast repair. Obviously, Justin McLaren had to as well, but also in at the end of the opening lap with Jason Madden, Marcus Knetska, and Alexei Watson. Watson's actually a lap down now, by the way, and Knetska half a lap down. So disaster start for the Silver Class Championship contender as his main rival Jackie Chung leads this race. I mean, these are the moments that can be defining in championships, and don't forget Marcus Knetska missed the first race of the season, and so it doesn't have a drop round to take and can't afford moments like this.
No, certainly not. And he'll still have, will basically be owed, I think, another pit stop from there. Only 4 seconds stopped in the lane for Knetska, so maybe he was able to get the requisite 4 litres out of the way for the first stop. This is what happened to Knetska, coming out of turn 7 into turn 8, side by side with his Pace Syndicate teammate there. He just got crossed up over the curb and spun on his own. I've seen a few drivers in the field suffer from that so far.
But why did he feel the need to come in on lap number 1? I'm not sure. Maybe that was the spin that he thought, well, he might as well come in at this point. But I'm afraid he's not in that
VSC
much.
would help him.
He's not in that much less traffic though than where he would have been. I mean, he'll be hoping to catch Jason Madden before that long, and in front of him is Justin McLaren, etc. So there's been so many early stops that he might not have got him out of the traffic in the way that he was quite hoping. But a very busy start. Thankfully, all 27 still in the race, but remarkably busy start. I suppose it's what we should have been expecting from, or what I should have been expecting from Hungaroring. He said Monaco without the barriers, as it's known in F1 circles. It is a tight and technical racetrack, and even these small Super Formula lights have managed to come into contact round here. Because I've got to say, this circuit looks a lot wider with these cars on than it does when F1 comes here.
Oh, it certainly does. In fact, I think this track is probably much more suited for these slower forms of racing than it is for F1, at least in the modern era. The Hungaroring was opened in 1986, the Hungarian Grand Prix, the first Formula One race behind the Iron Curtain. That was back when the cars were obviously a lot slower than they are now, and especially in recent years it's become obvious that maybe F1 cars are a tad too fast for the Hungaroring. Get another view here of Scott Bartine to pick up exactly where he lost his rear wing, and I have seen that on my end. It was contact with Hayden Millington through turn 3. This is turn 1 at the moment. They do blend to the right here, but it's technically not counted as a corner. Down to turn 2, he's alongside Millington, and you'll see in just a moment here some ever so slight contact that Millington makes on the inside. Bang, there it is. Wow. And then the rear wing just drops off. That's weird. I honestly don't know what to make of that, Ewan.
That's hot. Well, I know what to make of it. That's harsh, is what that is. And very unfortunate for McLaren, by the way, who's just taken out by his teammate, completely unawares, I suppose, that was even really going to happen. But yeah, that was very, very harsh. I mean, was there any contact with any part of Millington's car onto the rear wing itself? I'm not even sure, but
I was looking. I didn't see it. I think it might have just been the forces translated through the rear axle and up into the rear wing supports. Maybe kind of net Cody, to be fair.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's incredibly harsh, and pretty sad that Bartine's run at the front came to an end very, very quickly indeed. As we've said, if this race goes green the whole way, everybody will be making 2 stops. There's no doubt about that. The questions are going to arise if there is a virtual safety car at any point tonight. But in every one of those crashes that we've seen, in every one of these replays from the opening lap, everybody drove away from the accident and drove back to pit lane. So no need for any virtual safety cars so far in today's race. Race control just having a look over things from at lap 1 as well. I think Bartine has maybe protested that incident at turn 3 on lap number 1. I know it was a small bit of contact, but it had serious consequences for him. Obviously, the only thing from race control so far is Danny Davison's pit lane start, and I didn't have time to explain what it was for at the time, by the way. It's because in the last race, last week, Danny Davison reached the licence point threshold through the season, so has had a pit lane start. I don't think I've ever seen one of those in my time doing this series, although my memory's not very good. I don't know about you for the last couple of seasons, Reece. I don't remember a pit lane start for licence points. Generally, everyone's been staying away from that pit lane start penalty. Unfortunately, Davison has made life very hard for himself here at a circuit that is quite hard to make your way through the field already. So, yeah, that's an evening made difficult for him.
Yeah, I think there might have been 1 or 2 pit lane starts for license points, but much like you, my memory is unreliable, so I'm not going to say anything concrete. Regardless, I understand why it's happened. I mean, Davison has been very quick this season, but he has gotten involved in a few incidents, some would say needlessly, so he may need to dial it back a tad here. To his credit, he's worked his way up to 18th spot, though we have had 6 cars come through pit lane for the moment. Battle continuing on here for 3rd place. Tom McGinnis has let his teammate Ryan Bell go. Craig Edwards having a little look at Tom Donoghue, but this is a nice tight little pack here. Mark Hilley has extended his lead out to 2.4 seconds, and the kind of laps that he's setting at the moment, he would still have been up the front in qualifying.
Yeah, remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. This is exactly the kind of race that Mark Hilly needed here to move ahead of Ryan Bell in this championship. He's already secured the bonus point for pole position. He's not going to get the bonus point for fastest lap at the moment, by the way. That is actually going to Ryan Bell, but nevertheless, a lot more points available for the race win, as you can imagine. So we've had an incident down the back of the field, by the way. Godfrey and Berry have both got meatballs here. And it's turn 3 again. Godfrey goes into a big spin, and watch out. Oh, hit hard coming out of turn 3. Oh my goodness, that could be a virtual safety car, because he's not going to get back from there, and Godfrey has had to tow back to pit lane. Oh dear, there's a spin in sympathy as well. Is that from Josh Marsh, that looked like? But anyway, that is a hard hit, and are we going to see a virtual safety car for that? Well, everybody's not coming in, so I wouldn't imagine so. But Godfrey had to tow back to pit lane there. Berry's going to have to serve that meatball very shortly. That was a hard hit coming out of turn 3.
Yeah, problem with turn 3 is it's blind on the way in. You can't see the exit when you turn in for the corner, so Matthew Berry wouldn't have had much time to react. Josh Marsh, for his credit, looks like a spin once again. So, yeah, Josh is having a couple of troubles with his car at the moment. Having some trouble even getting it in gear there. But it looks like we're going to stay VSC free for the moment, with 33 minutes still to go. Keeping an eye on the battle for third place here. It's an incredibly tight pack of cars, but I think this is really demonstrating, Ewan, the defining characteristic of the Hungaroring, that it's very difficult to make passes. It's difficult to even stay in touch with the cars in front, with how much the aero wash affects the car through these twisting sectors. Yeah,
it is. Oh, and Edwards just showing that as well on cue, just a little off line through turn 8 and 9 there in the dirty air. And that was a little bit wide from Milne up ahead there as well as they came through turn 11. But yeah, this is the difficulty now with the Hungaroring. These 4 especially are very, very well matched. Ryan Bell, we didn't mention it at the time, but Ryan Bell has got past Tom McInnes quite some time ago, and he's chasing Hilly on his own at the moment. And there are battles like that one at the front, all the way up and down the field. This is Robillard and Tesorero, who are at similar gaps. Isabel and Van Treek are at the same, just in behind, and there's a couple more duos around as well as they come onto the front straight. We're approaching 15 minutes into this race, and that pattern of difficulty in overtaking is very much taking hold now. As you can see, here's another one of those groups headed by Hayden Millington. It's going to take pit stops to shake these guys up, I think, and those are to arrive in the next 4 laps.
Not far to go, and the question on my mind remains the same one as at the start. Which of the drivers are going to go for a long fill? Which of them are going to go for a short fill? Or are we going to see drivers basically try and go for the same time on both stops, try and make it a even split? I'm sure that if you're in a pack like this, you'd have to try something different to your rivals, but there's really no way of knowing what the other drivers are going to go for in the pit lane.
No, exactly. Makes it very well, I suppose Donahue and Milne might know what each other are going to do, but that's not much help, really. They're teammates, so they'll be working together somewhat anyway. But yeah, it's a total mystery what the others are going to do here, and we'll see whether anybody does anything more extravagant than just full tank or as full as you can get it in this restriction. We'll see. Nobody going early anyway. 9 laps complete. We're told that the limit will be 12, so it could be a few more laps yet, and it makes me feel the closer we get to a pit stop, the more discouraged people are going to be from overtaking, because they think, well, if I make a pass I might get re-overtaken here on the pit stops anyway, and if I stay behind here I could make a pass in the pit lane instead. So almost feels as if their looming pit stops are going to discourage overtaking just for the next few moments. But McInnes makes a big mistake there, and will Tom Donahue decide to punish it? Much better line through 2 and 3, but turn 4's coming up next, and he's not close enough. But McInnes making an error here, showing that he's had decent pace in qualifying and early in this race as well, but he's really coming under fire now.
Yeah, that line through turn 2 can work. It's a very off-camber left-hander going down the hill. The track is actually flatter off the ideal line, so he was able to hold on to some speed there, but that did compromise his entry into turn 3 a little bit, so Donahue did make up an infinitesimal amount of time on him, but for the moment it seems that they are content to continue as they are. It's a hard braking zone here for turn 12, but every turn here I've found is a little faster than it looks, especially in the Super Formula Light, which you know, I actually drove it seriously for the first time on my rig a few weeks ago, and yeah, it really stuns me how hard you can push this car through the corners. It has a lot more downforce than you think.
It's pretty remarkable. And as I said earlier, for a circuit like this, I think it probably does suit these cars rather well. So dive towards turn 1 there, a bit of a lock-up from one of them. I think that was McKinns, who's, I think, really struggling at the moment. Tom Donahue just in behind, then Angus Milne. Craig Edwards is lurking. And in the background, Gowans and Stevens side by side coming in towards turn number 2. And that's Doug Gowans making his way up another place here, although it's not done yet. Stevens fighting back on the inside at 3, but Gowans has the inside therefore at turn 4. Here he comes, over the top of the hill. Oh, great racing between the two, and Stevens actually holds on there. The odds are stacked against the driver on the outside there, but Stevens holds on to his place. Nevertheless, despite Gowans' obvious advantage in track position, Giuliano Sinese really catches up as well in 10th to make this a 3-driver group once again, but great defending from Stevens there on the outside.
Yeah, courageous. Turn 4 is such a tough corner to get right, let alone when you're on your own. So being able to hold the outside line there, especially without going completely beyond the exit curb, that is quite impressive. I think there was a bit of trust and respect there between the drivers as well. So Sinise making up his advantage there. Problem for Ryan Borg, apparently. Catches the grass on the way into 5. Fortunately, a vast tarmac runoff area to catch you. Avoids getting into the wall, but that is a needless time loss there for Borg, who was looking like he was going to be on for a potential top 10 today. That'll become a bit harder now. Raft of pit stops, meanwhile. I see McInnes, Edwards, Bell, Stevens, and Millington. Jake Robillard also coming into the pits as well. And leading the way out of pit lane is Ryan Bell.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, he makes it, and he just about gets in front of Tesorero as well, so nicely positioned on track as well. And then behind, McKinn's only just in front of Edwards, who gained a bit on him there in that pit stop. He's about 3/4 of a second quicker. In his box was Craig Edwards. And don't forget, he was at the back of the group, headed by McKinn's earlier, so where are Donahue and Milne going to be in relation to those two? Kenny Bisbrough just in behind, so these two have found a nice bit of track position as well, but the Everything Simulated drivers are going to respond shortly this lap. We're expecting the final pit stops to happen in this first round of stops.
Yeah, it looks like out of the first round of stops, pretty much everyone with the same rough time in the pits. Looks like there's been further issues here for Borg, who loses the rear on the way into turn 1. It's a fixed setup series, so nothing really to do with the geometry of the car, so to speak. Potentially, it's just a bit too loose on the rear for Borg at the moment with the brake bias he's running. It took him a while to get recovered from that too. Very tough one for the number 51. Our leaders, meanwhile, are into pit lane. Hilly, Donahue, Milne, Gowan, Sinise, Chung. Oh. Looks like the limit has been reached here. Oh, that's up on the jacks there for Hilly. I would imagine, Okay.
Well, you do not see that very often, but this is going to invite Ryan Bell right into the party. That's a lap car going through there of Alexei Watson, but Ryan Bell's right in it now. Has Mark Hilly made a calculated decision that it's such a twisty racetrack where tyres do take a bit of a beating? He's decided that maybe tyres are even worth it here. I didn't think we were going to see that today. 2.5 seconds quicker for Ryan Bell in the pit lane. Now he's in the slipstream of Hilly. Not that that makes much of a difference around here. It's symbolic that this gap for the lead has really closed, and it's because of a strange call in the pits from Mark Hilly. That is highly unexpected. There's the other class leader, Jackie Chung, with much less in the way of pit lane drama. It's Danny Davison making his way past, so Davison up to 11th here, ahead of Chung, who is still the silver class leader. Much less drama there.
Yeah, indeed. It's looking a lot calmer for the silver class.
Bell?
I'm sorry?
Sorry, Bell's gone for the lead and he's got it. Hilly's not up to temperature yet, he's not up to speed, and this is turning into a very strange call from Mark Hilly.
Yeah, I mean, when it happened, I understood why, like, if it was an intentional decision, I understand why he went for it, because he was in the lead by about 2.5 seconds or more before that. But the risk you take is obviously the warm-up phase. Hilly on tyres that weren't up to temperature, weren't up to pressure, and Ryan Bell on hot rubber, just able to drive past him in the S's section.
I mean, this is very unusual. Hopefully finish it on the podium so we can ask him whether it was intentional or not. At the moment, I can't really tell. I think it's unusual, though. I mean, but anyway, we'll hopefully talk to him afterwards. Edwards versus Milne, meantime, for 5th position. And, well, this is a shake-up, isn't it, in this 4. Donohue's ahead of McInnes now, who was the leader of the group previously. Milne managed to get himself between McInnes and Edwards. I'm not actually sure how he managed that, because there was a very small gap between them at the time. So Milne has got himself back to where he was pretty much, but Donohue moves up onto a podium position here, which is going to be his first if he retains it throughout the remainder of this race. He's currently 11th place in the point standings, and he'll move up obviously into the top 10 with a podium here, but still a long way to go in this race. Now the gap 3/4 of a second for the lead. We're about to cross the point at which we're halfway in this race of the 45 minutes. Ryan Bell in about 20 minutes has gone from 8th place on the grid to leading this race after the first pit stops. Pretty remarkable stuff, really.
Yeah, it's been an incredible run from Bell. I was very surprised that he wasn't able to get the time down in qualifying, and I wouldn't have expected him to vault his way up as much as he has, but he's played this race very well. Got those positions early on, took advantage of everyone leaving the door wide open on the outside through the first corner, and from there on, it was just a case of looking after his car and maintaining a good amount of tyre life while keeping those temperatures up, and that's benefited him here. Tristan McLaren, meanwhile, got a teammate alongside. That's the number 19 of Jake Robillard. So through turn 3, he takes it, and it looks like it was a bit of a lock up there for Jake Robillard. So that's another position up there for Tristan McLaren. He currently sits in 3rd in the silver class. It's still between Jackie Chung and Dan Ackland. There's barely anything between them at the moment.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. Remember, McLaren made that pit stop on lap number 1, but in this series, it doesn't matter really. Well, as long as everybody makes 2 stops, it doesn't matter, because you don't start with a full amount of fuel compared to the restriction that we have for this series. So it does all work out, and it's not the ideal strategy, but it does give McLaren a chance. Now, first penalties come in from today, and it's for Matthew Berry on Marcus Knitska on lap number 1 at turn 6. A 10-second penalty for Berry at the end of the race. Berry's actually got a penalty in the sim as well at the moment. He's 19th overall, and that would drop him behind Verney at the moment, but already quite a long way down. As we go back to Ryan Bell, who's starting to get away from Mark Hilly. And this is quite extraordinary. And again, this puts Tilly in big danger here, as well as the rest of the field, in terms of the championship and wrapping that up next week, because Ryan Bell's drop score, as I mentioned earlier, is at 85 points, and maximum of a win is 100. So you've got to be very, very close, and if Ryan Bell wins this race, he'll be out of that range, Hilly, needing to gain points next week. Otherwise, Bell will be champion. That's how serious this moment is at the front.
Yeah, and with 3 rounds to go still, I've gotten so used to sim racing championships going down to the wire. We have such a competitive scene, but if Bell's going to manage to do that and pull off what Sebastian Eskandari was able to do a couple of seasons ago, that would certainly be historic in the context of FDL. but we'll see. Hilly is making up time in places. That was a bit of a curb strike there from Edwards, got into the grass. He's still holding on to a top 6, so that's all right. That's all well and good for him. But yeah, it seems like as the race goes on, drivers are struggling a little bit more with the rear end. In fact, speaking of Bell, I did notice through turn 2 earlier this lap, there was a tiny little bit of a slide, and Hilly is now within half a second of Bell at the end of this lap. So I think the comeback might be starting for the number 59.
Well, exactly. I mean, is this all down to tyres? And this now is maybe Hilly starting to reap the benefits of what he decided to do, whether intentionally or not. He's starting to drag Ryan Bell back again, and you get the feeling, and he's locking up now through turn 2, Bell. You get the feeling that if Hilly gets past him, that might be it, and there might be no return for Ryan Bell here. Surely no chance for him to take tyres at the next pit stop, because it would be too late in the race to really see any rewards. But if this is a calculated call and it worked for Mark Hilly, it's going to be something quite extraordinary. But you look at the circuits this season, you think, well, if any of them are going to require this so far, it is this one. Even the likes of Mugello earlier, which would have been a 15-minute longer race, is not quite like the Hungaroring. Maybe Suzuka later in the season, also a 60-minute race will require the same. But this could be the circuit, the only one this season, where this really works. And if Hilly's been alive to that, if he's known about that and decided to do that, it's such a ballsy call, and it might well pay off for him here in the final 20 minutes, the way this is starting to turn around again.
For sure. I'm monitoring Bell's car up there, and we're going to go to a quick replay of Doug Gowan's here. What on earth happened to him at turn 2? Rear end goes. That's not the first time I've seen that tonight. It certainly won't be the last. I think that, looking at Bell and the way he's just occasionally dropping some smoke off those tyres, I think that's largely due to the camber in the road and the way he's managing the weight transfer. Hilly has not been doing what Bell's been doing here. See that little bit of a slide there from the rear, and no smoke from Bell this time coming out of turn 2. Every time you see smoke, that is heat going into those tyres, and you can't afford to overheat them around a track like this because the corners are just relentless. Hilly's close enough though now that he's getting a big amount of aero push, so he might have to start looking after those fronts again.
Is he going to decide to do anything on the strategy here that might well just upset things? We're in the window from now until the finish. Well in the window, but the window still has some way to go yet. We can go almost to about 40 minutes into this race with these tanks of fuel, especially in the case of Hilly, who will have gotten a lot of fuel in during that pit stop there, you would have thought. Bell, 7 places so far, would have got a decent amount in as well, so they do have free rein to really choose what they're going to do here as far as pitting is concerned. But since not many of those behind have, it's likely they'd end up in traffic, and that's not much use for anybody as they come out the final turn now. What is going to happen here on the way down towards turn 1? Bell knows he's there, and he knows that the attack is imminent because he's just moving the car over a little bit, suggesting he's looking in the mirrors, and he's moving over now as Hilly just gains on him in towards turn 1, and he goes wide. Bell goes a little bit wide here, and surely this is the chance for Mark Hilly. It's the first one really since these two got back together, and he's going to be squeezed at turn 2. Oh my goodness, that was close. We've seen these two come to blows before, and they are really pushing one another here. Bell defending as much as he can, Hilly attacking just as much, and now he's going to go to the outside for turn 4. He's going to back out of that though, because that would have been almost suicidal, but he's really applying the pressure now to the race leader.
Yeah, looks like Ryan Bell might be struggling with the tyres overheating a bit too much. No opportunity for Hilly here at the chicane. Just make sure that you nail the exit and look after the fronts through this twisting section, and then you might be able to get the slipstream again on the start-finish straight. Slipstream's always been strong in these cars. We saw it in great action at VIR and Watkins Glen, and the front straight at the Hungaroring is long enough that you can see those kinds of maneuvers. So This is going to be all about Hilly's exit out of the final corner. But we've got 10 laps to go. I'm pretty sure the window is well and truly open for that second and final pit stop. Could the move be to try and take it now and get an undercut? Neither of our leaders are going to go for it, but Hilly once again is close enough for a mega slipstream.
The window is absolutely open, by the way. Hilly is going to have another chance down towards turn number 1 here. There's battles going on elsewhere, but this is for the lead. Here comes Hilly again. And Bell, don't forget, went wide through turn 1 last time, so Hilly doesn't feel the need to force the issue too much here. He's going to go for it. Oh, and a cutback. And there's contact between them this time. Contact. And has that done any damage to either of them here? It was on Bell's rear right corner and Hilly's front wing, just making a slight bit of contact there as Bell, for the second lap in a row, went wide into turn 1 there.
Yeah, Hilly was trying to go for the cutback, but Bell didn't open the inside on the exit as fast as Hilly would have wanted. He stays a lot closer through turn 4 this time and is able to stay on the rear diffuser through turn 5. No opportunity here, though. The straight just isn't long enough to line up a big out braking maneuver when you're at this kind of pace, when you're already at your theoretical maximum. But Hilly is able to maintain the gap this time. Bell slightly wide on the way into the right-hander, and he's lost pace on the exit too.
Oh.
Hilly almost thinking about going for it through turn 11.
Oh, this is unbelievable stuff between these two. The championship rivals. These two are going at it really hard now. Another look down the inside from Hilly on the way down in towards turn 12. But he can't do it there. Bell defending as much as he can. And Angus Milne, just as he was catching up, by the way, has gone off. That will be very frustrating to him. But Tom Donahue, his teammate, is here now. Tom McKenzie's here as well, needing a big result tonight to stay in, well, sort of distant championship contention. But really it's about these two, Ryan Bell and Mark Hilly, separated by less than 10 points at the start of the day. It could remain that way at the end if Mark Hilly goes on to win. He goes to the outside again, and they make contact. Another chance this season for them to make contact, and Mark Hilly's got the instant limit as well now. What a crucial moment this could be in this season. It's Hilly and Bell make side-to-side contact, wheel-to-wheel contact. Hilly went up in the air. Bell now forced to defend from Tom Donahue and Tom McKenzie, who catch up, potentially with any damage as well. Mark Hilly has hit the instant limit already with nearly 15 minutes to go, and it's because of this. Down in towards turn number 1, Hilly on the outside line. Bell breaks too late for the 3rd lap in a row, and they make wheel-to-wheel contact with Hilly dropping all the way down to 5th position. What a moment in this season.
Yeah, oh man, I honestly don't know how to call that one. That's going to be tough for race control, but for the moment, in terms of on-track positions, Bell is going to take the championship lead conclusively from this one. And with the black flag still hanging over Mark Hilly's head, that's going to be a drive-through for through pit lane. That's going to lose him a ton of time, and he still hasn't taken his second pit stop yet. So I think this has just completely fallen apart for Hilly. I don't even know if he's going to finish in the top 10 from here.
Yeah, you do wonder. Tom McKinns comes into the pit lane meantime. I think he might think, well, this is a great chance to take the lead because Donahue and Bell might battle here. Don't forget, Bell is his teammate, so he might be able to assist him later. But here comes Tom Donahue to the inside, something that Hilly never did on the run down towards turn 1. And Donahue does it and gets straight through. You do wonder whether Bell's got any damage because of that contact, but nevertheless, he loses the lead very quickly here. He's still on the inside for turn 2, mind, and Donahue gives him a mile of room, way too much room, and that gives Bell the lead back again. Through turn 3, they're going to remain close. I'm not sure, well, his steering looks alright, I suppose, for Bell, doesn't it? But I'm not sure that car is alright, to be honest. Hilly, meantime, comes out in 9th place, so he can recover from there. It won't be, it's not a terrible position. However, he is a lot further down than he otherwise might have been. As Tom McGinns comes out, he's 12th, and I think that's a plan to try and take the race lead because Ryan Bell, currently leading, is his teammate, and McKinns might be of great assistance to him later on.
Yeah, times at the moment running sort of mid to low 133s if you're being fast up the front. Bell, of course, with the contact with Hilly last lap, his last lap was a 134.0. So Remains to be seen if he's going to commit to the end of this lap and see if the car's still got the pace. But the way he's been moving around in front of Donohue from this onboard, okay, all right, fair enough. It's going to be a complete flip from what I was expecting. Donohue going for the pit lane, and he is really maximising the entry there. On the way into the pits, he'll be followed in by Craig Edwards. So then, out we go through the final corner. Mark Hilly, of course, with that drive-through just being taken. He is still owing us a second pit stop for service. So still a bit doubtful as to whether or not he'll hold on to the top 10 for the moment. But we'll just have to wait and see. That's just about everybody now that has taken their second stop. Only ones remaining, Hilly, of course, Joshua Van Treek and Nathan Verney.
Some more stops to come from this race. Donohue comfortably ahead of McInnes though, and Edwards, who also contenders around. Actually, Donohue's stop compared to them was way shorter, actually. So it's worked out nicely for him as Edwards applies the pressure to John McInnes. Where is Ryan Bell going to be on the exit of the pit lane here? I suspect at the moment he's going to be behind Tom Donohue, really, and that will be a moment. Be a great chance for Tom to go through and win a race here this season, which would be quite something. And it would take some points away from Bell for Mark Hilly as well, because that's what he's really relying on now. Bell's championship situation is very much reliant on, or Hilly's championship situation rather, is very much reliant on Bell and everybody else in this field. As Ryan Bell does come in now, he probably can go another 2 laps compared to what we were told at the start of the day might be possible in this race. But nevertheless, he's not waiting around. Dan Ackland also into the pit lane, so he'll get out of the way for those championship leaders as well. Here comes Tom Donohue though, as Ryan Bell pulls into a stop. How long is that stop going to be? 6.8 seconds. That's way longer than Tom Donohue, and it's easy. Tom Donohue straight through, and Bell's in fact behind McInnes and Edwards. It's not a great race for Ryan Bell either, it seems, at the moment, as he's seeing off Mark Hilly, but at the moment he's let 3 drivers steam past him, and he's only got 8 minutes to get back past them and regain some of these points.
You were wondering a bit earlier if Ryan Bell's car was damaged from that contact with Hilly. I think it definitely was, because I was watching him on my end, and he was sliding the car around through turn 5, through turn 13 as well. He was having a real tough time with it. But now he's gotten whatever damage was on that car fixed, and I don't think the stop was really long enough to take tyres, so Ryan Bell should be on that same rubber to the end, an opportunity for the tyres to cool down a bit. And with the battle here between Craig Edwards and Tom McInnes, could be Ryan Bell right on the back of them in about half a lap's time.
Yes, could be. Don't forget that if Bell finishes outside the top 3, he'll be credited with points for 3rd place anyway, because that's his current drop round. This would become his drop round if it stays as it is, as Millington comes in, Stevens as well. You'd expect the next time round to be the last time, as Jackie Chung, the silver class leader, comes into pit lane as well. Still waiting for Jake Robillard to stop there, as we are Tesorero Van Treek as well. So Dan Ackland, the one he's really aiming at there. Chung to try and beat on the way out of pit lane, as the main contenders all get past. In fact, Bell's not quite past Millington yet on the run down towards turn 1. There he is. He's just about done it now. So as it were, for the front 4. What about Chung? And where is Dan Ackland? He's nowhere near at the moment. Chung is going to come out of the pit lane in first position in the silver class. And there's Ackland on the... well, you might just be able to see him on the right hand side. 5 seconds, nearly the gap. Chung, the championship leader in silver, a long, long way ahead of Konitska, and leading the silver class race as well as the championship. It's pretty much the perfectly uneventful day for him.
Yeah, an uneventful day late on in a season is the ideal circumstance, I think. You ideally want to get all of your drama out of the way in the opening rounds so you can focus on that chase. Speaking of chasing, Edwards still behind McInnes, but looking looking like Edwards actually has the faster ultimate pace. A 32.8 for his fastest lap, playing a 133.0 for McInnes when he was at his fastest. So there's a lot of potential here. But the Fusion Sim Racing number 28 looking a little bit off behind another car for the time being. Last couple of pit stops then to clear the field. Senese, Milne and Gowans both in. I would expect Matt Tesorero and Joshua Van Treek to come in to take their last pit stops on this lap as well. So that's going to promote now Mark Hilly to the lead. But remember, he still owes us a second pit stop.
Yes, and to be honest, I'm surprised he hasn't made it yet. But anyway, it will happen in the final 5 minutes of this race. So that will promote Bell to 4th. So Edwards just slides a little bit, and difficult to really tell where we're going to be in this championship before Hilly makes that pit stop. But the fact that Edwards is ahead of Bell and Hilly at the moment is fantastic news for his championship. And if you get past John McInnes, that would be just amazing as well. Get him maybe just about involved in time for these final 2 rounds. Certainly get him close to Hilly. Might even overtake him, but we'll do the maths once Hilly has made that final pit stop of the day. Here is a strange moment. Oh dear. And that's Van Treek. Oh no! Oh my goodness! What is going on here? Joshua Van Treek trying to get past somebody on their way out of the pit lane there. That was exceptionally bizarre. That was Matt Tesorero in front of him, and Van Treek got very impatient very quickly, clips him. I mean, this pit exit's never wide enough for 2, and Van Treek the one with all the damage. That was a strange moment.
Yeah, it looked like Tesorero just didn't get off the pit limiter as quickly as Van Treek did, so not ideal. And Hayden Millington with his own set of issues. Again, a spin out of turn 7 and hold the brakes, mate. Goodness me.
That was nearly disastrous. That might give Hilly a position that he otherwise might not have had, by the way. As he comes down pit lane, the front 4 get past very, very easily indeed. Hilly's not even come to a stop yet, and now he does. So 5 seconds in the box. Davison gets past. Millington is going to get past as well, is he? Or is that spin going to mean that he doesn't? Hilly's just about in front, although Gowans was trying to make a move down the inside there. Couldn't do it because Hilly was coming out the pit lane. Millington hits Hilly now, who actually gains the place, and Millington gets the instant point penalty as well because of that contact. So Hilly holds on to 8th position. In fact, Millington's got a meatball because of that very, very light contact coming into turn 1.
Yeah, it looked like Millington just turned in. I mean, he saw Hilly coming out of the pits ahead of him and the battle that he was in with Gowans and Stevens. We're going to get a view of it here. Hilly jumping his way out of pit lane. Well, you'll see when Millington comes up on them, he turns right in for turn 1, I think expecting the apex to be clear, but it's not. The move was trying to be put on him there as well. There's the contact, and Millington almost runs into Doug Gowans as well on the way through. Alex Stevens was really the big winner out of that. He got 2 freebies.
Yes, up to 9th for him. So with Hilly in 8th position, he would lose 19 points to Ryan Bell. That would put the gap at 27 going into the final 2 races of the season. Edwards at the moment would gain and lose nothing, because he'd be in exactly the same position as what Bell was, although Hilly would be 1 point closer, sorry, because he's got the fastest lap, so and he got the pole, didn't he, Hilly? So yeah, 2 points closer rather, 25 behind, and Edwards would gain and lose nothing, so he'd be 31 behind. So it would be Bell leading the championship, then Hilly 25 behind, and Edwards 31 behind going into the final 2 races of the season. And Bell's drop round would mean anybody would need to be within 22 points to be involved in the championship fight. So Hilly would need to beat Ryan Bell next week, but that would be it. He doesn't need a certain amount of positions or so. He just needs to beat Ryan Bell next week, and the championship will still be alive going into the final rounds of this championship. Edwards would need a little bit more to go his way, but we could have a 3-horse race in a fortnight's time.
Wouldn't that be fantastic? Really looking forward to that final round at Suzuka. It's one of the great open wheel racing tracks of the world, and for very good reason. Phillip Island next round, more famous for touring car and motorcycle racing, but I think we're going to be seeing an absolute draft fest, much like we saw at Watkins Glen next round, so prepare for that. The slipstream didn't play as much of a part in this round, but Tom Donoghue, with a couple of slipstream moves on his way to P1, takes the white flag with 40 seconds remaining. McInnes and Edwards are still battling behind him. It still remains to be seen what our podium is going to look like.
Yeah, McInnes actually made a mistake on this lap, and there goes Edwards looking down the inside. Now, interesting to see what McInnes does here. He's got his own championship aspirations to think about, if he still has any, and he's got Edwards right behind him as well, who's obviously a rival to Ryan Bell, his teammate. So I think McInnes is just going to stay where he is, probably the safest thing to do, but you do wonder whether any letting through is going to happen here. Right at the very end, over the top of the hill here, through turn 4 for McInnes, who looks like he's about to hold on to a podium place here for Tom McInnes. It'd be a fantastic result, his first podium of the season it would be. He's the highest placed driver to not have one yet in the championship standings, since he's 5th placed in the points. Can he maybe do it here? Edwards crawling all over the back of him, and they're losing a lot of time here on the last lap, by the way, not only to Tom Donoghue, who's surely going to win this race, but also Ryan Bell right behind. Edwards using an off track since he's got it to use it up at the 11th corner. Can he make his way through here into the penultimate hairpin? No, he can't. McInnes looks like he's going to hold on here, although he goes a little bit wide. He's going to have to defend into the final turn as well. But meantime, Tom Donoghue is going to come out the final corner and win in the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship, supported by Everything Simulated, the team he drives for. What a fantastic drive from him. Fantastic pace tonight, and a 3-second win as well over Tom McInnes, who does hold on from Craig Edwards, and Ryan Bell, who extends his championship lead tonight because Mark Hilly finishes in 8th. Jackie Tugg extends his championship lead as well, and it's by a whopping 18 points, adding on to the 8 that he's already got, because he wins in the silver class in front of Marcus Konietzka. That's a big statement in the Silver Class Championship as well. Both Gold and Silver Class Championships staying close, but the Championship leaders taking bigger advantages into next week than what they had at the start of tonight in both Ryan Bell and Jackie Chung's case.
Well, what a race it has been. Hungaroring, despite the fact that it's hard to pass around here, it always manages to create some sort of excitement, be it from crashes, pit strategy, or otherwise. Although, to be fair, we did see a couple of really fantastic moves today. Still waiting for the last couple of drivers to come across the line. It looks like Verney and Berry have just sorted out their race for 18th, just within 0.4 of a second of each other. It's going to be Jason Madden and Matt Tesoriero, the last cars to come across the line here. But Donoghue should be very happy with his performance there. He managed to stay out of trouble, unlike our leaders.
Well, indeed. What a fantastic drive from Donoghue to win here tonight. He'll move into the top 10 in the point standings as well. And there are the race results. The confirmation, 3 seconds, his gap at the end there, ahead of Tom McInnes and Craig Edwards and Ryan Bell, who were all in a group there towards the line. Gino Sinese had quite a quiet day, but actually moved up to 5th in the end, ahead of Angus Milne, Danny Davison, and then Mark Hilly, who loses points from that position there in 8th. Alex Stevens and Doug Gowans then round out the top 10. Jackie Chung wins in silver, ahead of Dan Ackland and Tristan McLaren, also on the podium there. Jake Rowellard also in there. Scott Bartine was 15th, quite a long way down after losing his rear wing earlier, and Hayden Millington, having meatball and a penalty late on, finishes 16th. Marcus Konietzka over a minute off the win there, with Nathan Verney, Matthew Berry, Jason Madden rounding out the top 20. Those further behind having a few issues tonight. 21st for Matt Tesoriero, Dayton Godfrey, Joshua Van Treek, Alexei Watson, laps down for them, 2 down for Josh Marsh. In fact, Caleb Isbell and Ryan Borg were the non-finishers tonight. Let's have a chat, shall we, the wrong way up the podium, shall we, and chat to Craig Edwards first, who finishes in 3rd place tonight. Craig, welcome in. Congratulations on a 3rd place finish from the Hungaroring. Talk us through that race a little bit from your perspective, because it was so weird in so many ways. You gained 2 places where you qualified in the end to a podium, so how pleased are you, and how was the race?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good shot in the arm for the championship for me. Somehow, it looked like there was a lot of action right in front of me, but somehow I never ended up in a real fight. Managed to put a bit of pressure on Tom McInnes right at the end, because I think he ran out of incidents, but I still couldn't quite get up to second place. But I'll take third.
As you say, good championship day for you. 31 points behind Brian Bell, but way closer, only about 6 points behind Mark Hilly, I think, because of where he finished. So up to third, because Geordie Slater not here today. But 31 points, 2 rounds. How do you rate your chances of catching Bell and, of course, jumping over Hilly by distinction as well in those next 2 weeks?
I think it's sort of in with a shot now. With that gap, because the final round you're not allowed to drop, and it's an enduro for extra points. So it's really, if you're within striking distance, it just depends how you perform in that last race.
All right, well, congratulations on a podium finish tonight, Craig, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Craig Edwards, the third place driver. Need to check whether you can drop the final race. You used to be able to. Anyway, we'll see whether that's still true now. Tom McInnes finished in second place tonight and also joins as well. Tom, welcome in. Second place finish for yourself. You're defending from Edwards hard there at the end, and your teammate Ryan Bell was catching up as well. Just what were those final few laps like there, defending that second place?
Scary as all hell. I had no problems with pace for some reason, but I was close to the incident limit, so I was really trying to do everything I could to keep Edwards behind and not go off the track one more time. So, yeah, very sketchy.
Well, you certainly weren't the only one, I must say. In terms of this season, this is your first podium, and you were the best placed driver in the point standings without a podium. Now, that will go to somebody else, obviously, but how have you been finding this season off the back of a Silver Class Championship when you just seem to be getting faster and faster? Does it feel like that?
Yeah, somehow it does. I don't really know why, but every week I've turned up and I put a decent lap in quali, and that's half the battle. And I just stick with everyone, and it's getting me really good results. And I'm staying clean as well. So, yeah, I'm really happy with how the season's going. I'm not quite sure how I'm doing it, but we move.
Congratulations. A fifth top 10 in a row for yourself overall. So congratulations, and thanks for chatting to us at the end tonight.
Yep, thank you. Shout out Gripline, shout out Broline. See you guys later.
Thanks very much. Tom McInnes, who finishes in second place tonight at the Hungaroring, and finally in the gold class, the race winner, Tom Donahue, joins us now. Tom, congratulations on taking a race victory in the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship by nearly 3 seconds in the end there as well. Just how does it feel to cross the line first tonight?
Yeah, well, obviously, I honestly wasn't expecting it. Probably to ever get a win in this league. But to get one where I kind of deserved it was a nice touch. I kind of knew if I could get to third, the chances of Hill and Bell crashing were pretty high, and it kind of played out like that. So it was good.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm sure there'll be some discussion between those two about that. But anyway, in terms of this circuit for you, we popped in and practiced, as we always do before we come live, and saw you right up towards the front. Good qualifying from yourself as well to get to third, and then decent pace in the race to stay around the leaders, as you say. Is there something about this circuit that you particularly like? Is it one of those things that just fell into place for you? What was the case tonight?
Honestly, Ewan, if I knew, I would be winning the league. For some reason, this track, I am very good. I got my first league race here about a year or two ago, and I beat Jackson Rayhana and Danny Davison. So those are two quick guys, and then quick again tonight. I don't know what it is about Hungaroring, but it puts me at the front of the field this track, and I wish I knew why, because if I could do it at other tracks, I would be able to compete for championships. So yeah, it's a bit of a mystery to me why I'm quick here. If anyone out there that's faster than me can explain that to me, I'll happily take the tips.
Well, better that way around than the other way around, I suppose. But there you go. Congratulations, Tom, on the win tonight, the Hungaroring. It's great to see you cross the line first. As you say, pretty much fully deserved as well. And thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And thanks for the broadcast every week. And thanks to everyone that helps the league run.
Thanks very much. That's Tom Donahue, who wins tonight at the Hungaroring, and of course helps the league run quite significantly himself. So thanks to him for that as well. Jackie Chung, meantime, takes the win in the silver class tonight as well, and joins us now. Jackie, congratulations on a silver class victory. One step closer to the championship, although there's still 2 weeks to go. Just tell us about your race and how difficult that was, because we saw the silver class field tonight pretty much exclusively in the midfield. None of you were sort of troubling the top of the field and out of trouble, as it were. It was all in the midfield. How was the race for you and the silver class guys?
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, it was a good race overall. Most of the race, I was managing the gap with me and Daniel Ackland. He was right behind me the whole way through. The first lap there was Scott who spun in front of us, and I managed to dodge him with no rear wing. So other than that, the race was pretty uneventful, but it was all about keeping Daniel behind me. And at the end, he took tyres and I didn't, and I just kept in the back of my mind that I have to get these tyres till the end and not to push too hard.
Yeah, what was the story with tyres tonight in terms of taking it versus not? Because it was taken by Hilly at the front, for example, but none of the other gold class drivers up towards the front did, as far as we saw, and there were very few tyre changes in between, but it felt like, once we did see that, we felt, well, it would make sense around here. If it's going to be anywhere, then it might be here. So what was the story with tyres? Was it more beneficial, do you think, to take it tonight or not? And just what was it like on the old tyres then compared to what it would have been like putting on the new ones?
Yeah, it's definitely right on the borderline. This track is quite hard on tyres, lots of high-speed corners, very aero-dependent. And so if there was a VSC called, I would have likely taken tyres. But given it was clean up until then, it's probably you're better off not taking tyres. Maybe a few seconds advantage there. But if you had to pit for whatever reason, the tyres may have been the right call.
Well, congratulations on making the right calls tonight and winning the race in the silver class, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Thanks, Ewan.
Thanks so much. Jackie Chung there, the winner in the silver class here tonight as well. That's just about it from the Hungaroring. We've got an interesting championship to come, though, in the next couple of weeks at Phillip Island and at Suzuka as well. These championship standings will be slightly out because Ryan Bell will get a few more points than what he's got there, and Edwards and Hilly will be perhaps changed around a little bit as well. But let's wait and see on that. As far as the others are concerned, the gap between Chung and Konitska is a real one, and that is up to 29 points at the end of this round. So it is close between the silver and the gold class drivers. Don't forget there's the Australian Open Wheel Nationals spots to qualify for as well. That goes to the top 13. At the moment, Tristan McLeod would just about make it in there ahead of Hayden Millington by 13 points. As always, though, at the start of every broadcast, we'll have the finalised standings for you before we get underway at Phillip Island next week. That's when we'll be next live here with the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship here on TrackSpotTV, so I hope you'll join us then for that penultimate round of the championship, the sprint round at Phillip Island. I've been O'Leary alongside Rhys Gardner, and until we see you in a week's time from Phillip Island for that final sprint round, it's goodbye for now.